Hi, Paul Morris here, Director of Assembly Care Ministries. I want to share with you a little about ACM or Assembly Care Ministries. Our mission is that we would like to connect believers in New Testament patterned assemblies with commended workers, ministries, and other similar assemblies in North America. And we also want to encourage the support of the gospel going out in North America by supporting commended workers. We do this primarily through three different categories of programs that we run. The first one is the Assembly Directory. And within the Assembly Directory, we have multiple aspects of it. The one that most people are commonly familiar with would be the Assembly Map, and you'd be able to see that at assemblymap.com, or you can see it at assemblycare.org, and you click on the Assembly Directory button there. And within that, you're going to see either a map on the front page. It's kind of like a Google map with all the assemblies in North America listed on it, or you're going to see the Assembly Directory listed there. And the Assembly Directory is the same thing, just in list form. But it doesn't stop there. We also have a Worker Directory. That's commended workers in North America. And we have listings of the types of ministries that they're involved in, the geographical locations that they live in, and it's a helpful resource to assemblies when they're looking not only for commended workers that they can support in prayer and financially, but also commended workers who can support them through ministry and supporting the ministering of the gospel in their locality. We also have a listing of ministries, over 50 501c3 ministries in North America, and then camp directory as well, where you can go and you can find camp listings also for the benefit of the local assembly. I'm going to quickly show you some excerpts of some interviews that we've done with assembly commended workers. This group of commended workers is specifically working within the armed services, and I had the opportunity to meet with them this last year and pull together some interviews. I think you'll find them a benefit and will appreciate seeing them and hearing them as I did. Hi, my name is Paul Morris with Assembly Care Ministries. I wanted to share something with you that I learned this last year. Did you know that there's a group of individuals known as the Stewards Ministry Chaplaincy Program? And they're commended workers from around the United States that are federally recognized so that they can serve in the capacity of chaplains around North America. Now, this is in hospitals, prisons, and one of the things that really encouraged my heart was that they're also in the armed forces. Now, let me tell you something about the chaplains in the armed forces. See, to be a chaplain in the armed forces, you have to have a MDiv degree. But you also have to be recognized by a recognized religious organization. That means that in order to be a chaplain in the U.S. Armed Forces, you need an organization that will say, yes, they are a minister with us. Well, the Stewards Ministry Chaplaincy Program is able to do that for the Plymouth Brethren Assemblies. But there are many, many other types of chaplains in the armed forces, and not all of them are equal. I'll give you an example. I had a friend who was telling me about a funeral that was being performed at his unit. It was for a service member who had PTSD and had committed suicide. It was an awful time, and everybody was struggling a little bit and discouraged. The chaplain got up on the platform, and he proceeded to lay down a trail of blame, saying, "This is your fault," and so on and so forth. Not only did he treat this wrong in just about every respect, he also did not bring up the gospel. And so he failed in his prime regard as a minister of the Word of God, because he did not speak the truth of the Lord to these hurting men and women. I sat and listened to that, and I thought, why couldn't this have been one of the good ones? See, there are good chaplains. And these who are commended from the assemblies, who are able to get into the chaplaincy program with the military, they're positioning themselves in such a way that they're going to be present during some of the most difficult life events that these men and women will ever face. They are able to be there during formative times that the Lord is bringing into their lives, and they're able to speak the gospel openly and freely to these men and women. What an incredible assurance to have if you have spent time in the military yourself, or if you have family or friends in the military, to know that there are actually commended workers working actively in the U.S. military for those individuals. I'm going to be releasing interviews of these chaplains and some of the things that they have found in the military and some of the experiences they had leading up to their becoming chaplains. I'm going to share some excerpts right here, and then over the coming weeks I'm going to be releasing full videos if you're interested in watching those. I think you'll be gratified if you do. Thanks for your time.
Perfectly black, and a Marine comes up and shines his red flashlight under his nose and says, "Hey, chaplain, is that you?"
Already left. For safety's sake, they had gone at a time different than what had been established. So we went back to the motel, and just in not a very deep sleep, I saw angelic beings on every side of the plane, huge angelic beings just plowing along the side of the plane, and I knew he was being taken care of.
He'd been shot center mass, it missed every major organ and went out his side and blew out part of his arm. I went into his room and I said, "Zach, do you know who I am?" He's like, "Yeah, you're my chaplain." I mean, he was just wide awake, knew what was going on. And I said, "Zach, do you know where I'm from?" Because we were all Iowa guys. He goes, "No." I said, "I'm from Oskaloosa." I told Zach, I said, your grandmother told me on Wednesday to tell you that she's praying for you.
There's an element there where you literally are with people who are a heartbeat away from heaven.
And so soon we're starting to notice, as I went to go visit my guys, that we're having people that are turning from notional heat casualties and injuries to becoming real casualties, where they were suffering from heat exhaustion. And so then I'm going back and getting my medics and coming, and we're treating as many as we can. I'm grabbing those, putting them in my vehicle and taking them over to the real medics who are out there also training, and now they get to do their real job. And just ministering to these, and they see how much you really care for them when the real authorities and the others aren't.
Another project that we're involved in is something we call Project 249, and it's based off the passage in 2 Corinthians chapter 9, where Paul is exhorting the believers to support those who are out doing the work of the gospel. And part of his exhortation to them was not that they were not doing the work, but that these believers were already supporting the work of the gospel, and he was encouraging them to keep on doing so. And Project 249 is based around the idea of bringing together many small gifts from believers to support the large needs of some of the commended workers. And that's done through electronic support, primarily. What that means is that you can go onto our website at assemblycare.org. You can click on the button and you can go in and choose a way that you can give to a commended worker. Now, that's electronically done, but it can be done automatically or it can be done as a one-time payment. And one of the things that we can also do is we do what's called a needs-based support. And what that means is that a commended worker who has a very specific need that they're not able to meet financially, it can be brought to us, and we can then, at that point, go ahead and send it out to our list of folks over text message. And it's usually sent out anonymously. And when it's sent out, whoever gets that message can actually respond to that message via text message and give via that text message. Now, one thing that we've also begun to do in 2017 is disaster relief fund collection. And this last year in 2017, we were able to actually collect over $40,000 and be able to put a huge dent in some of the needs of the assemblies that were affected in the 2017 hurricanes. Hi, Paul Morris here with Assembly Care Ministries. This last year, with all the hurricane disaster relief projects that were underway, one of them was Frost-Proof Bible Chapel and the Shepherd Christian Community in Frost-Proof, Florida. Well, I'm currently driving around the property at Frost-Proof, and we had the opportunity to fellowship with some of the believers at the Bible Chapel this Sunday. I just wanted to take some short videos of this location. I think that you'd be gratified to see that things are looking pretty good, and hopefully it's beneficial to you to see this as it is to me driving around and seeing this as well. Just a wonderful group of folks here. I had a chance to speak with Steve Rusk and George John and quite a few others, and just absolutely have enjoyed the fellowship.
Well, as you know, we're here in Florida, and this is hurricane country. And we entertained Hurricane Irma back right in the midst of hurricane season. And Nancy and I evacuated. We made it as far north as to Nashville and then back. And when we got back, it was just a mess. While the hurricane was going on, there's a brother in the assembly here that works in concert with the government. He was in the radar station. He said we had 2 tornadoes right down our road here that accompanied the hurricane at the same time. So we really took a hit. There were wires down all over the road, trees broken all over the place. By God's grace, we didn't sustain a lot of damage in the homes in the area. However, the chapel really needed a roof badly after Irma tore through here. And we're a small meeting, and I don't know what you know about Florida, but in Florida, we have a lot of people here in the wintertime. And in the summertime, it gets hot. We don't have so many people. Sometimes we're down to 4, 6 people in the meeting. And so when it came time to put a new roof on, we had about half the money in the bank, and but we didn't have enough to go forward with it. My wife and I went north up to Murfreesboro to the Bible conference up there. And while I was up in the room at the embassy suites there on the 11th floor, I called back here to talk to one of the elders about the roof job. And he said, "Steve, we just don't have enough money to go forward." I said, "Start the job. Don't worry about it. The Lord will provide." I hung up the phone, went downstairs, and in a matter of 15 minutes later, Paul Morris came and spoke to me. I had been to the Assembly Care booth a little earlier in the day, and he said, "Steve Rusk, Frostproof Florida, why is that significant to me?" And he was puzzling within himself, and he said, "I know." He said, "I have some funds for disaster relief for your assembly." And I want to tell you, it was the exact amount that we needed to complete the job. And all this happened. We had been praying about it, but all this happened within 15 minutes after I hung up the phone and told the brother, "Start the job. Give the contractor the green light. The Lord will provide." So I just want anyone who's listening to know that this ministry, Assembly Care Ministries, is used of the Lord. It was used of the Lord definitely in answer to prayer for our needs. We had been praying about it. We really needed a roof. If the roof goes, the whole building's going to go. So it was essential that the meeting continues. It's our prayer, of course, with all the other assemblies around, that we continue until the Lord comes to meet in liberty and to worship the Lord and preach and teach. So just within a matter of minutes, our prayers was answered, and so we're very much encouraged. My wife, Nancy, and I, we've lived here in Frostproof for 4 years. We moved here from North Dakota. We were with Harvey Gospel Chapel, and before that, we were at East County Bible Fellowship, where we were married years back. And so all I've ever known in my Christian life is Assembly Fellowship. Even though I was saved late in life, the Lord led me into the assemblies in a very lovely way, in His grace and in His goodness. And I'm on the board of directors with Gospel Missions of India, have been for years. I used to go to India for ministry. I've been to India very nearly 25 times. I went every year for a long time. And for the first 10 years I preached, and then after 10 years the Lord dealt with me to start making films of India. So I used to go over there and make films of assembly ministries, orphanages, hospital work, church planting, lots of things. And then I would spend about 3 months of the year traveling the USA, showing the films in different assemblies. So I'm sort of well known. I've been off the circuit for a few years because of cardiac issues, but the Lord's been very good to me, and I've got a handful of work to do here in Florida with the local assembly, and we're content and rejoicing in the Lord. We're living here at Shepherd Christian Community, and this has been here quite a long time. I don't know how many years, 40 years or more. It's a community of homes. It's not a gated community, although we do have our own entrance with our name on the front. But a lot of people come in the winter and just stay for a few months to get away. A lot of Canadians come. But we have exercise rooms, and a room and internet room, and shuffleboard at miniature golf. We've got on a very nice lakefront property with our own pier, and properties are for sale. If any assembly couple wanted to retire here, it would be very valuable if you were to come and take up residence and lend your hand to the work of the local assembly. We could use your help. We're small. We'd like to grow. I don't think that the Lord really had a seasonal assembly in mind when He ordained the assemblies. And we would really like, in fact, this is why my wife and I moved here, to build up the assembly. And we would like to see more full-time residents come and abide with us and help in the work. It's a nice assembly. We have a nice fellowship hall. And don't worry about the heat in the summer. It's only hot outside. We've got lots of air conditioning. When we moved here from North Dakota, we used to tell people that it was only cold outside in the winter, so don't worry about the weather. The Shepherd's Christian Community itself is owned by Assembly Brethren, and they're really not in it for the profit. They're in it as an adjunct to the assembly, to be supportive of the assembly. Their primary interest is in the assembly. They're all assemblymen and good men, and I've known them for years and worked with them for years, with Gospel Missions of India in particular. So you can look us up on the web. We're at shepherd.org, I believe it is. Shepherd Living, shepherdliving.org. And you can get a look at us and see some photos. Very nice place here. It's in Central Florida, in the midst of the orange groves. So it's rural and quiet, but we're an hour and a half away from Disney World, if that would help you to orient to where we're located. So we're airport close to international airports, lots of local shopping. We measure civilization today by distance to Walmart. We're about 15 minutes from Walmart, so we're not that primitive. And if you want to find out where we are and get our address and our contact information, go to Assembly Care Ministries website and look on the directory. We're in there. The information is current, and we'll be glad to receive you. If you come here for a visit, we've got a place for you. We can put you up. If not, in one of the vacant homes. If you come in the summer, there will be vacant homes. And if you come in the winter when it's full, why, we've got a guest room, and so do the other brethren who live here. And we'd be glad to host you and show you good Christian love and fellowship. And by the way, in this month's Cornerstone magazine, there's an advertisement for a home for sale here in Shepherd's Christian Community. So if you go to Cornerstone, you'll see a half-page ad, and there's some contact info in there, and it'll give you a little look-see of what it looks like around here. So Cornerstone magazine, this is March, so it'll be the March issue.
And then finally, we have the ACM Health Line. And the ACM Health Line is based around providing for health care for commended workers. And this is one aspect. We all know the need of health care in North America, in the United States specifically, and commended workers are no exception to that. And we do a variety of things. One of those things is that we collect information. We become a curator of information for commended workers. That includes Christian sharing programs and international health insurance, doing comparisons and contrast of plans, and providing advice on which plans might best suit a commended worker. But the bigger thing that we do is we have actually provided a telemedical service where medical doctors within the assemblies have volunteered their time so that when a commended worker calls in or contacts us through our website at acmhealthline.com, we go ahead and we treat them over the phone just as if they were in the office with us. And they're able to do a tremendous job treating these healthcare needs for these commended workers. They do it absolutely free of cost for the commended worker, and it's a very remarkable service that they're doing for these individuals. If you happen to know a commended worker who could use this service or the 2 Core 9 service, please do not hesitate to mention it to them as a resource that's available for them. This is something that the Lord has put on our hearts, and we would love for it to be well used. So as you can see, we have 3 different categories. Again, we have the Assembly Directory, we have Project 2 Core 9, and we have the Assembly Care Healthline. These are all projects that are continuing to evolve and continuing to grow, and we continue to look for individuals who may be interested in helping in these projects. So if you're one of those individuals, please contact me at info@assemblycare.org. Again, that's info@assemblycare.org. There's a variety of other ways that you can help as well. One is that we really need prayer. Pray for commended workers. Pray for the assemblies in North America, and also pray for these supporting ministries as we're all trying to care for those in North American assemblies. Also, make sure that you're talking about these resources. Share them. Ask questions. Let us know if you see any needs that are not being met. This is one of the things that we are able to do, is to look at these unmet needs. And as we begin to see patterns where there might be needs that are being unmet, we can see if these may be ones that we can fit, that we can fill as an organization. Also, engage. Sign up to get our updates. You can do this on our website at assemblycare.org. You can also sign up for our 2 Core 9 text. Also, if you're a commended worker, go ahead and sign up for the Healthline at acmhealthline.com. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. And again, if you have any questions, email me at info@assemblycare.org.